Hey, welcome back everyone. So just want to show you what we've been working on over the last few months. For anybody that's been following us for a while, you know we got a grant to put in some new fencing, extend our operations. They covered a new milker for Heather that allows her to milk much faster and in higher quantities, and also in a easier fashion as far as cleaning and that kind of thing. But the other part of it was we got a grant for fencing. So here is, that's the boys' pasture, and there's our girls' pasture over there. If you guys look, I'm gonna zoom in here. You guys can see Penny and Oatmeal way down there. So that's the girls' side, and then I zoom out here. This right here is all brand new fencing that just got finished up, and this is all our forest. So this is on the north side of our property, and this is about roughly an acre. Actually, I think it's about 2.5 acres, 3 acres, somewhere in there, that we have now fenced in. I'm on the ATV right now, so I'm going to take and we're going to do a drive of the pasture or of the new fence line, and I'll show you guys how big of an area that this actually is. And what this will be used for is in the summer months, we'll have this opened up and the goats will be able to be down here throughout the summer. And why are we doing the summer? Because all of this will be nicely shaded, so they'll have shade. They'll be able to come down here. They'll eat up all of our little scrub brush down here, and they'll clear all this out really nicely. One other thing I do want to point out that we did, and we get this question a lot about what kind of fencing do we do. So we do a high tensile fence. If you look in between our netting here, I'm not going to touch it because it is on. That silver wire right there is high tensile wire. So we have here on this side, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then very close together we got 4 and 5. And then on the front side of it we have this netting, which is all electrified. So all these strands that you see that are braided, if it'll focus in for me, all these braided strands that you see, those are all have little tiny wires in them, and it is all electrified. So if they touch it, they're going to get zapped. For all my animal lovers out there, I'm going to tell you, it is not comfortable, don't get me wrong, but it does not harm the animals. We have been shocked, I can't tell you how many times. They learn very quickly, and they don't even touch it anymore. They don't challenge it. They see it up, they just completely ignore it. The other thing that it does, if you notice, if I can get it in a shot, the high tensile wire goes through these wonderful PVC posts that we've got here. We just found these. They're a T-post that's in plastic. You can run the wire right through it. You can zip tie right to it. Whole lot easier than those metal posts. Much easier to deal with, much faster to put everything up. But if you notice, the wire, or the netting rather, is on the front side. It's not on the back side, because it also works great as predator proofing. So any coyotes, foxes, things like that, they come up to this, they get zapped, and they're going to go the other direction. That means we don't have to worry as much about coyotes and foxes and things like that coming in and getting to the herd and, eating the babies, or the donkeys having to get injured while fighting them off. It makes the donkeys more of a secondary defense. So that's the type of fencing that we do. Everywhere that we put fencing up, I also put a disconnect, so that if I do need to work on this section, I can turn off just this section. I don't have to turn off everything. This still stays electrified. If we get up with a tree or a break or something along those lines in this fence, I can isolate it really easily. The rest of the fence still works. So for any of you that are setting up fencing, they're like $10 for the disconnect switch. Highly recommend it. Put your pasture in segments like that anywhere you can. It just will make your own life easier. So now we'll make a make a little run. Hopefully you guys will still be able to hear me. And we'll see exactly how big this is. And if you guys really want to get interesting and you want to slow all this down, it's basically about 10 feet between each of the white posts. So that'll give you an idea of how big this is and how big of an area that we actually fenced in. We put the T-posts at about 10 foot apart. With the PVC posts, you can actually go farther apart if you want. We opted to go with a little bit higher strength by putting them closer together, just because that way we're guaranteed a stronger support in case anything comes through here and challenges it. Now, for our separator fence that goes between two pastures like we've got on our wet and dry side, we went farther apart because the worst thing that happens is our girls that are dry, they're going to just get on the wet side. There's no risk there. There's no predators that we are having to worry about. There's nothing like that. We just have to, we're just using it to keep them apart. So I gotta get that pole out of there. I forgot about that. So as you guys can see, this is quite the area back in through there. This is everything that they'll have access to probably in about 4 months, roughly 4 or 5 months. Which some of you may be asking why we went ahead and did the fencing now. It's for a few reasons. One, this was grant money. We have to use it up by March 1st. So we are given grant money to put this in to expand our operation. I'm going to make sure and put in the description of the video here that where the grant came from, and hopefully link them. We're going to try and get their permission in order to do that. But without it, we wouldn't have been able to do this financially. So they came through for us. They said, hey, we've got this money. In exchange, we give them 3 years worth of milk testing data that Heather gives them. She sends her milk in every month for testing, and they test for bacterias and things like that, different safety margins, and test that out and make sure that everything is healthy. And so that's the trade-off. They give us money to do this, and we give them data, which makes all of the dairy industry better. This whole program actually goes through cattle, and that's what it was originally designed for. Our ag extension, our agricultural extension here in Iredell County, reached out to the program and said, hey, we've got a goat cheese maker and a goat dairy. What do you guys think about extending that program to them? And they had never thought about it, the goat side of it. Everything was cattle. So they went to their leaders and they said, hey, what do you guys think? We think this is a good idea. And they said, absolutely. So they then got a hold of Heather and said, hey, would you be interested in this? Would you be willing to give up some data for the next 3 years through milk testing? And they'll give you grant money to do some things with, as long as what you're going to do qualifies. And we said, well, we need fencing and a new milk machine, and will that qualify? And they said, yeah, that will absolutely qualify. So that's what we did. All right, so thanks to them, really appreciate that. But why did we do this now, even though we're not doing it till summer? So that was one part of it. The second part of it is we don't like working out here in the summer. For any of you not familiar with North Carolina, especially for all my people back in Washington State, when it's 90 degrees and it's 110% humidity, yeah, it's not fun working out here. So anyway, this will be a gate right here. We still got to get that up. That'll come this week. We'll get that in. And then this is the old high tensile fence, which I'm about to actually run into. I didn't exactly design this curve in mind of getting the ATV through a lot. It's not designed for that, so it's a little bit of a sharp turn. So now we're on the other side of it, and it goes all the way up there. So we do have left. We got to put this netting up along this side, but again, that'll be done this week. So back to also, why are these two wires? Turn that off. why are these two wires at the bottom so close together? Why are they right there? All right, see how close those are together? Why is that? Because we're also going to put pigs in here. Eventually we're going to run some piggies in here, and though we will be offering to our customers different pork products. That will be coming probably in the next year, we hope. So we needed 2 strands of that wire very close to the ground to make sure that they stay in here. The benefit of also running pigs in here is pigs and goats carry different types of parasites. So we run the goats in here throughout the summer, put the pigs in here after that. Pigs will go through, and what they're going to do is they're going to come in here and they're going to start eating everything up. Those piggies are then going to also eat up those parasites that the goats dropped. The pigs will then drop different parasites and that aren't harmful to the goats, but then the goats come in and they'll clear those out. So it helps. It does not eliminate, but it does help with pest control, with parasite controls. So that is why the wiring, that's why the netting, and that's why everything that we did here. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. Again, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these kind of long form videos for our followers to kind of do some education, why we do what we do, how we do what we do, and hopefully you guys find it interesting. If there's specific content that you guys want to hear us do, please feel free to leave a comment and let us know. We'll be happy to consider it. I can't guarantee it, but we will consider it, and we'll try and get you guys involved in the day-to-days and the planning and all of those little stages and all the stuff that we do, and give you a kind of an inside look. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. From White Tree Farm, have a wonderful day.